Beginning there were 9. 8 were born of light. Their names sung in the Vedas, their forms carved in stone. And the 9th was born of shadow, silent, unseen. Her name was never spoken. She was the keeper of silence, the goddess of forgetting. Where the others gave memory, she gave rest. She gathered broken thoughts, lost faces, and fading dreams, so that time could move forward without drowning in what it remembered. But the gods grew afraid of her. They saw how silence could swallow prayers, how forgetting could erase their glory. So they joined their voices and spoke one curse: let her be unmade. Let no tongue remember her name. And thus the 9th was cut from creation. Her temples sank into rivers, her verses turned to dust. She became the hollow between sounds, the breath before a word, the pause between life and death.
It began with one missing line. Dr. Nisha Roy had been studying the Rig Veda for 12 years, but that morning, as the rain drummed softly on her Delhi window, she found something no translation had ever mentioned. A verse numbered 10.189.13. A line that wasn't supposed to exist. It read, in faint Sanskrit, "Of the 9, 8 were named by light. The 9th was left in shadow." She frowned. The Rig Veda had no 9th creator. There were 8 Adityas, gods of light and order. No 9th. Yet the manuscript, an ancient palm leaf copy from a monastery near Uttarkashi, clearly mentioned one more. She called the librarian at the archive. "Sir, this verse, where did this copy come from?" The old man hesitated. "That text came with the flood donations from Uttarkashi, madam. The monk who sent it died before explaining. Most of the leaves were damaged." Her heart beat faster. Forgotten verses were rare. But a new god? That was impossible, or maybe erased. On her desk sat a small silver locket, worn smooth from years of touch. Inside was a photo of her son, Abir, gone too soon, taken by a river the same year she began her research. She had never taken the locket off. That night, she dreamed of a temple with no idol, only 9 pedestals carved into stone. The first 8 glowed faintly, while the 9th bled darkness that flowed like smoke. A voice whispered from that shadow, "Find me where they forgot to remember." The next week, Nisha left for Uttarkashi. The mountain road twisted like a scar. Landslides had eaten away parts of the hills. The driver, an old Pahadi man, pointed toward the fog. "There was once a village there, madam. Buried by the flood 10 years ago. They said a temple stood there, very ancient. No one dares go near now." "What temple?" she asked. He shook his head. "They called it the Nauva Mandir, the 9th temple. The government said it never existed." By the time they reached the valley, the sun had died behind gray clouds. The ruins looked like bones, broken pillars, half-buried steps, a single arch still standing against the wind. And there, carved faintly into the rock, she saw the same verse again. Of the 9, 8 were named by light. She touched the stone. It was warm, too warm for evening. A gust of air passed through the valley, low and humming, like a breath drawn after centuries. Then she heard it, soft at first, then clear, a faint chant in Sanskrit. coming from below the earth. Nisha followed the sound to a collapsed staircase leading underground. The deeper she went, the air grew heavier, filled with incense and dust. At the bottom, she found a vast chamber. 9 stone platforms arranged in a circle. 8 small blue flames burned on the pedestals. The 9th was dark. As she stepped closer, the air shimmered. From the 9th pedestal, a divine feminine figure begins to form. Dark skin, tall, graceful, and made of shadow with blue aura. She emerges gracefully like a goddess with glowing eyes that hold galaxies within them. Behind her, Sanskrit symbols rise and swirl in the air, glowing softly before fading. The 8 other pedestals bow with dim blue flame, as if acknowledging her return.
I am the 9th. They tried to unmake me, to carve my name from the bones of time. But you remembered, and remembrance is the key that turns the door. I am the mother of forgetting. For every memory you hold, another must fade.
The chamber trembled. Nisha fell to her knees, clutching her locket. The shadow pressed into her thoughts, unraveling them. Her research, her name, her home. Each memory slipped like sand through her fingers. Then her mind reached the image she feared most to lose. Her son, Abir, his laughter, his scent, the feel of his tiny fingers wrapped around hers. The goddess whispered, "All shall be forgotten."
Nisha screamed, not in terror, but in defiance. She held the locket tight against her heart, sobbing, "Take everything, but not him." Her tears fell onto the stone, and where they touched, light bloomed, pure and blinding. From the other 8 pedestals, flames of gold erupted, the Adityas, gods of light and heaven. They rose like pillars around her, their voices shaking the air. The 9th goddess, made of shadow and smoke, writhes in fury at the center of the chamber. Her eyes burn silver. The Adityas extend golden chains of light that spiral around her, binding her screaming form. The air shakes with the sound of forgotten prayers and echoes of lost voices. Mitra's aura expands, bathing the ruins in pure gold. Sanskrit text glows mid-air. The whole creation bows to pure love. It cannot be forgotten. Even silence must yield before its light. Particles of light swirl around like memories reborn. He raises his hand as the goddess collapses beneath the earth. The ground shuddered. The 9th flame was snuffed out. Only the smell of ash and tears remained. And Nisha, still on her knees, clutched the locket and whispered through trembling lips, "Abir." Days later, villagers found her near the ruins, alive, but without memory. She did not know her name or why she was there, but she was holding a small silver locket, burned at the edges, pressed close to her heart. In Delhi, the librarian reopened the palm leaf manuscript. A second line, half burned, had appeared beneath the verse. The 9th rose from silence, but only the pure love of a mother can silence her. The rest of the leaf was blackened, as if scorched by divine fire. At the hospital, Nisha often sat by the window watching the sky. She did not remember the temple or her son's name, but she would sometimes touch the locket and whisper softly, almost instinctively, "Abir."